GTA Online has a whole host of unique JDM cars, and many of them have a large amount of available customization, so that the likelihood of you bumping into the same vehicle design is very low. But today I decided I would share my personal top 5 best JDM cars in GTA Online, so without further ado, let's jump straight into this. So before we get into the meat of this video, I would like to mention this is not based off performance stats. This is my personal favourite JDM cars and I will be judging them based on general looks, but performance will still be mentioned in this video. But with that all cleared up, let's get into the number 5 spot on this list, and that's the Euros. This car is actually my dream car in real life, with it being based off the Nissan 350 or Nissan 370Z. It's almost like a crossover between the two. Now this car is really popular among the car community, and the GTA version shares quite a few visual features. The car was added back in the LS Tuners update, so there is a wide variety of customization options, going from subtle pieces of carbon trimming to full-on bumper deletes, meaning whatever sort of style you're going for on this car, it's definitely doable. Although the car does lose some style points, as there is no option to have a big titty anime girl on the side, bruh, which is, as you guys know, very disappointing. Negative points for that. Unfortunately, another downside to the Euros is that the car in terms of performance actually kind of sucks, with it being one of the slowest cars in the sports car category, with an embarrassing top speed of 116.50 miles per hour or 187.49 kilometers per hour, meaning it can't even break the 120 mile per hour mark in the straight line. So this car is actually slower than some cars that you can find the NPCs driving on the street. But in terms of style, this car, in my view, deserves a place on this list for sure. Number 4 is another car inspired by Nissan, and that's the Elegy RH8. One of the best handling cars in the sports car category, this car ticks all the boxes for the perfect JDM or Japanese car. It's completely free for anyone who literally just has some form of garage, which I'm guessing if you are watching this video, you have at least a garage to store a vehicle in. Not only is it just free, but it has quite a few customizations options as well. Not many, but the ones being offered can just enhance the car a bit with carbon accents and a big spoiler. It just elevates this car as well, and making the car look at least decent is not very difficult. And to max out this thing with upgrades, cosmetic and performance, it will probably only set you back a couple $100,000, maybe $200,000 at a push, which in the grand scheme of things is very cheap for today's market. So if you somehow haven't picked up the free Elegy yet, then go on and do it. You definitely won't regret it, as it's one of the best sports cars. Next up on the list is the Karin Sultan RS. As most of you probably know, this is the Benny's upgrade of just the regular Karin Sultan that you can find on the street. It has so many customization options, just like every other's Benny's vehicle, but I am not terribly sure what vehicle it could be based on. I was sort of thinking it looks like a cross between the Subaru Impreza and one of the Lancer Evos maybe, but I will leave it up to you guys to decide. Now, similar to the Elegy Custom, which is the custom variant of the Elegy RH8 that I mentioned well at the number 4 spot, the Karin Sultan RS is trash when it comes to performance, with an embarrassing top speed of 117.25 miles per hour or 188.7 kilometers per hour, which is just very disappointing for a car that's costing you millions of dollars. Although, like I mentioned earlier, it does definitely make up for it in the customization department. So if you want a car with tons of customization, then look no further than the Sultan RS. And to top it off, the car maxed out won't cost you any more than about $1.3 or $1.4 million. I just mentioned a few seconds ago that it's probably not worth it in terms of performance, but in terms of looks, it's very reasonably priced. Coming in at the number 2 spot is the Penumbra FF. This car just looks amazing, and was added back in the Los Santos Tuners update as part of the drip feed content. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I never knew about this vehicle until, well, I only actually knew about this vehicle last week. and I'm glad I found it as it looks really good. With a buy now price of $1.38 million, it is reasonable for the car you're actually getting. Its acceleration is the first thing I will comment on, as it seems like it just jumps off the line and gets up to speed really damn quickly. But similarly to the other cars on this list, there is plenty of customization options available for this vehicle, and with it being really low to the ground, it makes it look like a proper tuner's car. The car is based off the Mitsubishi Eclipse, and I think it's fair to say that it's basically a carbon copy, or maybe not exact, but definitely close to the real thing. Unfortunately, the top speed of the vehicle once again is very disappointing, with a top speed of 112.75 miles per hour or 181.45 kilometers per hour, making it one of the slowest sports cars in the game in terms of top speed. Now, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Rockstar actually nerfed all the LS Tuners cars in the Contract DLC as they were too fast, so I believe the car used to be much faster, but if you are into low riding cars, then I would recommend adding this car to your GTA garage. So now it's time to reveal the number 1 spot, but just before we do, please leave a like on this video and comment your favorite JDM car in the game or in real life. And let's move straight onto the number 1 spot. And the number 1 spot goes to the ZR350. This car is one of the best cars added with the Tuners DLC in terms of looks. When stock, the car looks a bit garbage, I won't lie, but with the right upgrades it can look really good. I especially like the cherry blossom decals available for this vehicle, and the car is actually based off the Mazda RX-7, which is clear because of the pop-up headlights, and just the general shape of the car is very similar to the real life counterpart. Now, the amount of customization options for this car is ridiculous, very impressive indeed. And you can opt to go with very bold options such as the massive picnic bench spoiler available for this car, or you can go for a much cleaner and subtle look with just small changes to all the body panels, including the fenders, the hoods and the rear bumper, stuff like that. Unfortunately, similar to the other LS Tuner cars and just the other cars on this list in general, speed of this car is just not very good, with a top speed of 117.50 miles per hour or 189.10 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest car on this list by about 1 mile per hour, although it's still not very impressive considering street cars can go faster than 117 miles per hour. Now, the car does actually kind of make up for it in terms of handling. The handling is pretty good and the engine sound is pretty decent as well, and that's why I've put this car at the number 1 spot. Plus, I just really love the RX-7 in real life and in general. But that concludes this list. I am planning to make a part 2 to this as there are so many great JDM cars in GTA Online. We are really blessed with some really good looking cars in this game. But also, leave other video suggestions down in the comments below and I will be definitely listening to them. And like always guys, like and subscribe, and take care everyone.